Hi guys, it's Lich K. Arthas. I am the #1 ranked Death Knight and Cryomancer for solos. Today, I am just going to go over my build here, some of my stats, give some tips and tricks, and also some commentary over a game, helping you guys find players and also avoid them, maybe some tips on matchups. So first, I'm going to go over my build. For solos, duos, and trios, I always run Frostbite Curse. I believe it is mandatory for at least solos. You can run Ice Storm for duos and trios. However, just because I'm a very aggressive player, I run Frostbite Curse. I run Frost Barrier for solos, duos, and trios. You can use Ice Armor for solos. However, I notice the only times I die are if I get in a very bad combo. For instance, if someone throws a Thunderclap Potion and stacks it along with, let's say, a Frostbite Curse or an Ice Storm, and they use a Thunder Staff to kill me. So this is kind of covers my main weakness of how I die, which is getting one shot. You can still use Ice Armor. I think it's good, especially with the high influx of rogue players in solos. It'll keep you from dying from a crossbow from across the map. You know, you just always have a 200-ish shield. However, personal preference, I prefer Frost Barrier. So, as for passives, in order of importance, I would say Dexterity, then Stamina, then Will, then Intelligence. 4 passives may seem like a lot, but it is actually fairly easy to achieve. So I would do it, it's not too hard. As far as stats go, critical strike chance should always be 100%, whether that be through max crit chance stacks on kill. Those can be on your boots. Gloves can have critical strike chance as well. Heirlooms. You always want 100% critical strike chance. Critical strike damage is good as well, but critical strike chance is more important. As for damage, percent damage baseline, like for example on the crown, along with match damage increased stacks on kill, they give 2% damage per stack, is a separate multiplier from critical strike damage. So you actually want a healthy amount of both to maximize your damage output. Also, another really good thing about Crown is that if you are running Ice Armor actually scales with percent damage. So it will actually double dip from your Crown as opposed to if you used a purple, which only gives elemental damage. So, another important tip, if you are running Ice Armor, I would always use a Crown. I also always use crowns, because not only can you get max damage increased stacks on kill on a crown, or crit stacks on kill on a crown, you can also get an offensive set on a crown, as opposed to normal headpieces, which can only have defensive set pieces. For example, a defensive set would be Drunk Alchemist, Tangling Chain, and offensive sets would be obviously Fairy of the Lake or Storm Rage. I am running 30-30 Fairy of the Lake. I believe it is only worth using if you have the Legendary Ring, and also if you are a range class, mainly a Cryomancer. I do not think it is very good for melee classes, and I don't think it is very good for any other range classes besides Cryomancer. Simply because of how the timing works for your Frostbite Curse, it's only worth using on this class, and again, it's really not worth using unless you have the Legendary Ring. I think full life on hit is better than Fairy of the Lake, unless you're very experienced and you also have the ring. Because this set, what people don't understand, is that the main thing it is good for is extreme amounts of burst with your Frostbite Curse and your Fire Staff. That is the main thing it is good for now after the nerf. And Fairy of the Lake or other offensive set bonuses share a same slot as Life on Hit. So for example, you cannot have Fairy of the Lake and Life on Hit on the same piece. So you are missing out on a lot of Life on Hit if you go Fairy of the Lake, and especially for Cryomancer, I would suggest Life on Hit over Fairy of the Lake. Just because I am running the Legendary Ring, and I am also very experienced at kiting other players, I will run this burst damage over the sustain that Life on Hit would provide. One thing you can do if you're not too experienced is actually running 2 swords and 2 orbs. That way you have 6 charges of heavies, which frees your opponents in place. So depending on the meta, I may also run that, but mainly if you're experienced enough at kiting players, I would run the Sunblight Staff, just because it provides a lot more range damage and pressure. Now that my build is out of the way, I'm going to go over my settings here. So I am a player that prefers performance over aesthetics, so I always have everything really low. View distance, I will max out on Castle because I can see further. On Sinner's End, I don't really need it, so I keep it medium. Sharpness, I have it 67%, just because it's easier to see stealthed players when they're in the range I can actually see them. It outlines them a lot better, especially on these low graphics. It really helps seeing stealthed players. I always max out my field of view. One thing you can also do is that you can turn on streamer mode, and if you turn on streamer mode, it will tell you the classes in the kill feed of the people that escape or die or kill other players. It is very helpful. Right now I have streamer mode off just because I like seeing scary players. I usually recognize their names if I should be scared of them or not. So right now I have streamer mode off, but sometimes I have it on just in case. For example, if I see a druid at the beginning of the game and I only see one druid in the pre-game lobby, and if I have streamer mode on, I'll see if he escapes or if he's still in the game. Something like that, if I know I can catch him or not. Now we are going to load into a game here, and I will provide some commentary.
We load in, we're in the top left of the map. First thing I always do is look up at my spawn. And then from here, if I spawn in a corner of a map, it is something I prefer. Right now I'm just clearing some mobs to get my damage stacks. Nothing too special right now. Just because someone can spawn very close just south through this door, I try and play very carefully, killing those mobs, trying not to take too much damage. Okay, turns out there's a cryo here. I always preemptively throw Thunderclap Flasks, expecting them to run into them, because throughout the game you'll get more than enough to use, so I just use them whenever. This is a little trick if you want to recharge your staff while walking. Some people say it charges your staff faster. I haven't tested it. I just prefer to be as mobile as possible while I'm recharging my staff. Since I've committed to chasing this person, I pre-health pot. Get the dot on him around the corner. Dot him again. And I already know I am way ahead of this guy in terms of health. I see him ice block. Just gonna kill the bug. If he comes out anyways, still probably dead. I grab the shrine, curse him again, and yep. Speed shrine messed me up a little bit. From the direction that the shaman was just in, I heard somebody fighting different mobs. So I'm going to back up here just in case this person pushes me. Gonna quickly loot. Taking only jewelry, purple sellables to the merchant. Since I don't have the auction house, I don't really look at stats very often. I just grab things that are worth the most price per slot. And in the direction I heard the fighting before. Wasn't exactly sure if it was here or the door I just looked at. So I'm going to check this out just because things are broken. I see souls. I know someone's here. Yep, see him. Dot him. My Drunk Alchemist set actually procced a Thunderclap potion on him. Okay. I assume this guy is going to run forward because I didn't know that there was a door there. He runs through, which was very good presence of mind from him. Except that he is now surrounded by mobs, and yep, he's dead. I decide to not even loot him, because I don't want to clear the room. Clearing the room would really slow down my pace here, and I want to keep up a high pace to get as many kills as possible. Again, just walking while charging the staff. I go back that direction because I heard the Reaper. I thought he was aggroed on someone other than me. He wasn't. He was aggroed on me. I hear him teleport behind me. I just close him out and I move on. I see someone right across there. I noticed him a little late. This could have been a little scary. I see him dash towards me. Take out my shield. I see him charge a heavy. I trade a heavy. Now he's frozen in place. He has no charge. He has no mobility. He loses. Nothing he can do. Quickly clear out the mobs. Take a few potions, just because I like to use them liberally. I always pre-pot before rooms that I know people usually spawn in or may congregate. Always check the middle. Nothing aggroed, no chests open. I see bodies but no souls, which I usually just assume that someone passed through here. I'm guessing it's the guy I just killed, so I run through without any fear. I hear somebody on the other side. And I hear it was a rogue, so I pre-pot my shield. And I just hear him take out a crossbow. So I come in block. I think he's on my right. He's not. I walk forward a little bit, keep blocking. Oh, and I see him right there. Because of my graphics settings, it's a little easier for me to see him. I follow his footsteps. I see he jumps down. I know there's only 2 ways back up, so I know that he's going to the staircase. I didn't expect him to actually just come back up, but he does. Hit him with some pots there. I don't know if he runs Petrify or not, so I try and block it. And he already had another stealth ready. And luckily, my curse actually kills him. I did not expect that. I figured he would get away. Just drop the swords since they're not worth too much. Nothing too interesting. I try and loot pretty quick. I usually skip most mobs. Those mobs I always kill just because they do an absurd amount of damage and they never stop following you. Again, just looking through, I have my staff ready because this is a hot spot. So just in case I need to curse somebody quickly. I don't see any mobs dead, but I still run through just because I have the speed shrine, so it doesn't hurt to check. I see nothing. Just gonna close the door and move on. Gonna check up the room north. Crouching, looking through the grate. I don't see any mobs dead. I don't hear any mobs aggroed. So I move on, check the other side. Still nothing. I move on. Again, looking through the grate. I don't see anything. Always check the middle. Nobody. No souls, only dead bodies. So I assume that it's not... There's no one here. But you never know. Since the high influx of rogues, I always check these high spots, and I'm very wary. Because crossbows do 500 damage. So, I don't see anything. I keep moving. I take out my thunderclap, so I can always be ready. And I move faster with it out. I'm gonna close the door just because I don't want the mobs following me. I think I hear somebody over here. But I assume it's just the skeleton. I don't see him aggroed, so I just forget about it, move on. Again, mobs are dead, but everything's looted. So I assume it's somebody who isn't too rich, someone I shouldn't be too afraid of. Most of the time it's just a rogue. Just keep moving. Killing mobs as fast as possible as I move. Since people are starting to escape, I try and move a little faster here. Gonna check this room even though the mini-boss is not dead yet. I always check. I see one body, no souls, no movement on the other side, which is a spawn room. So I move on. I stick to the walls so that I can hear sounds through the walls in case anyone is fighting or aggroes any mobs in other rooms. Grab the speed shrine because it's free. Again, sticking to the walls. Listening, even though I was just in this room, I always double check. Sometimes people like to follow me, rogues, looting the things that I kill, because I don't loot. Recheck this room, looking around. Just gonna kill some mobs here. Now, I did not expect anyone to actually be in here, and I look across, I see something dead, but I don't see any souls, and then someone pops up right there. I had no idea where he came from. I see that he's pushing me, and I can hear that he's pushing me. He should not have pushed me. I get a free dot. My Drunk Alchemist procs a Incendiary Flask. I miss my Thunderclap because I think he's going to come around back the way he came. He did not. That was a good play by him. So, I know he's to the left because I can hear him. Obviously, I don't see him. I get a free dot there. Very unfortunate for him. I pre-pot here just because I have the time to do it. I don't want to make a mistake. Okay, I keep chasing him. And now that he is that far away, he's through multiple doors ahead of me. I think the only way I'm going to be able to catch him is if I can cut him off, because I have less movement speed than him anyways. So I think that he's going to come in this room. Unfortunately, he does not. So I go into the room that he just went through. Looking for aggroed mobs, checking if he's hiding underneath. He is not. I see the skeleton is aggroed that way, so I know he went through that door, and I can hear him killing mobs. So since the skeleton's blocking the door, I won't be able to open it, plus I know he is still running from me. So I try and cut him off this way, because I don't think he's going to run into the red zone. And unfortunately for him, I am right. Hit him with my Thunderclap. That was a very generous range on my Thunderclap. So now he's locked in this room with me. And he's dead. So one thing that fighter could have done is he could have kept going down that hallway, turned to the right, and then there would have been many mobs separating us. I would have to face those as well, and it put me in a scary spot. So I think I still would have won, simply because I still had my ice block, but it definitely would have given him a much better chance. But I understand he probably panicked, because he was probably half health from across the room, that he decided to just face me. Alright, nothing too interesting here. Just looking what I can drop, some larger pieces I can drop for some smaller pieces that are worth more. Just dropping some extra consumes because I won't need them since the game is basically over. Decide to just drop the life on hit piece since I probably won't use it anyways, and since I don't have the auction house, it's not worth anything to me. Always take jewelry and merchant sellables. Again, I'm just taking a little bit more time than usual because the game is almost over. I don't think anyone's gonna come find me if there's anyone left. If there's anyone left, they're probably not too scary. Especially since there's no one else in the kill feed, right? So, little things you can pick up, context clues about who's left in your lobby, who you're chasing, who you should be afraid of, things like that. Again, this room is not worth clearing. My inventory is basically full anyways. Since the game's almost over, I am looking for a portal at this point. So anywhere a portal may spawn, maybe I just kill skeletons. They're really easy. I accidentally throw a thunderclap there. That was an accident. So, just looking around for a portal. Checking the middle of the circle here for a extract. I see this room is not cleared at all, and I hate clearing the middle with all the goblins. It is a total waste of time, and it is very dangerous. So they do a lot of damage. Cryo does not have great mob clear capabilities. Just kill these immediate threats. Bats and skeletons aren't too big of a deal. Grab the strength. Again, I'm clearing these mobs in case a portal spawns in here. I can just grab the portal. Okay, I see a shadow portal spawns. I get high ground to see if I can see any more portals. And I see someone in the doorway over there to my left, so I instantly pre-pot. I see that he's a shield user, so I'm not scared at all of running towards him. I know he has no range options. I dot him. He must not have seen me. So he's in a really bad spot. He grabs me. All I do is just charge heavy him, try and kite him, but turns out he was very low, so he just dies. Clearing some mobs before I loot. I'm confident that skeleton will die to my dot. This guy didn't really have too much. I decide since it won't really cost me anything, it's the end of the game, I grab the ferocity potion. Just in case. Okay, and at this point, it is very likely that there is nobody left in this game. I would hear them by now in other rooms, or they're across the map by a static in the red zone. But I still check the outer of the circle, try and hear any sounds, any mobs aggroed, any doors opening, any fighting. Just in case there's someone left. I see this portal, so I just quickly clear the mobs. Again, goblins are very annoying for me to clear, especially giant hordes of them, so I was really trying to max distance open this portal and not aggro any of the goblins. Fortunately, I aggroed one. Okay, and I am out. And as it turns out, there was no one left in the lobby.
Well guys, I hope that game was informative. Just a recap of some of my biggest tips. I would highly recommend learning the different spawn points for both the Sinner's End map and the Castle map. And generally, a rule of thumb is that you want to do things that are proactive rather than reactive. One big example is you want to find the players before they find you. You want to do things that help push things in your favor rather than react and try and catch up, because in this game classes typically win more. What that means is things that they're good at, they're really good at. So you typically want to play really aggressive in this game, and you will come out on top almost always. A lot of players are very scared, so if they take damage, they try and reset immediately and try and heal. I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend always trying to be on the offensive when you can be. I hope you learned a lot from this video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I will try my best to answer them. Have a good time in the dungeon.